Hello guys, my name is RGM, your Random Gaming Maniac. This video is about the top 10 shinobi that you can farm for in Ninja Tribes. So a lot of people, especially new players, are mostly unsure of which shinobi they need to develop. While the consensus is that you just play with characters you like, it's also a good idea to focus on a few units that would help a lot in different modes of the game. And if you're one of those people, then this video is for you. As a disclaimer, this is an objective list. It's based off the Ninja Tribes tier list being managed by the Tribes Lab team. I'll leave a link to the tier list in the description of this video. Some of you may disagree with this list, I know I do in some cases as well, but I've ranked them based on how they are also ranked in the tier list. Okay, so before we go to the list, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like on the video as it helps get the channel out to YouTube search. Now I need to have a special mention here for SR Sasuke Heavy. I say special because he's not farmable beyond the current event, but most people would probably have him at least 5 stars. He's a great defensive unit, providing guard rate, guard damage reduction rate, and most importantly, status effect rate. Pair him with AoE stunners for maximum benefit. He also has a stun on his jutsu, and that's invaluable in PvP. Definitely try to put him in your arena team. Before the top 10, I also have a few honorable mentions. First is SR Naruto. Being the main protagonist in the game and in the anime franchise, he brings decent damage for an A unit. He also has decent defense and HP. So he's an overall balanced unit. His skills help get his damage up the longer a fight goes, increasing his attack and defense each time a shinobi dies. His tribe specials are decent as well. His fragments are also easy to farm for, having 3 areas in the elite missions where you can farm for his frags. There have also been a few events in the past that gave out his character frags. He's the best starting shinobi that you can have on your team. Next is Kankuro. Of the Sand siblings, Kankuro is the damage dealer. Their tribe special is great for PvE and hits all units. He has skills that get his damage up and boost the entire team's damage when he kills an opponent. His fragments are very easy to farm for, and one could argue that you don't really need to directly farm for his frags in elite missions. Just do a lot of Rio or item summons and you can get his frags from there. A good offensive unit in the early game. Lastly is Kabuto. The best thing about him is that he lowers enemies' defense passively. You just put him in your team and he already puts in the work. On both his normal attack and jutsu, he recovers the HP of the shinobi with the lowest HP on your team for a bit of sustain. He only has 1 elite mission stage, but you can buy his frags at the Orochimaru shop for 100k Rio apiece. A good support unit from early to mid game. Now we go to the top 10. At number 10 we have Shikamaru. He's a T unit that provides a disable in his jutsu, and after that, the target will be taking more damage. He buffs other T units in either his normal attack or his passive ability. He has a decent tribe special with Ino and Choji that hits all targets. Unfortunately, the damage of the tribe special falls off by the time you reach mid game. But due to his ability, he is still sometimes being used for FG stages where you need a damage boost for your T-nukers like UR Sasuke Kirin and Deidara. He has 1 elite mission stage, so he's not that easy to farm. Overall, a decent support unit for early game. At number 9 is Orochimaru. Now I would personally rank him higher in a list like this because he brings a lot of utility to a team. He has confusion for a quasi-disable in his jutsu. While it doesn't stop the target from attacking, it makes them go to a random location in the rotation, so that could disrupt an arena team. It lowers all opponents' attack stat as well. His normal attack also has a silence effect, and he's the only one so far that has that ability. Silence basically prevents opponents from using jutsu and tribe specials. His passive increases damage reduction for active allies and also reduces crit suppression when you activate his LB2. When he dies, he reduces all your enemies' damage reduction. He has 1 elite mission stage, so you can farm his frags daily. Overall, a great defensive unit. I always have him in my arena teams. At number 8 is Boruto. Now, he is the definition of a glass cannon. If you're not familiar with the term, glass cannon means that it hits like a cannon but is fragile like glass. He has low HP but hits very hard. His skills increase his damage by a lot. He also boosts the damage of the people in the cell that he's in. His passive brings even more damage boost to him and the cell. His frags are very easy to farm for because he has 3 elite mission stages. Overall, he's a great damage dealer and very effective in FG events. At number 7, and this may surprise you, is Darui. Now he boosts damage increase rate for your team and reduces damage reduction for the enemy team. He boosts allies' damage reduction on his normal attack. He then boosts the attack of all defense shinobi in your team for his passive. So he's basically an offensive D unit more than a tank. He also has great offensive stats for a D unit. However, his third skill is not the same damage boost as an A unit. The big downside to Darui is that his frags are hard to farm for. You can only buy his frags in the Eternity Coin Shop. While high-level players can probably buy 5 of his fragments daily, for most newer players this won't be possible. So he's like a hidden gem that's really hard to get. For me, he is best placed in NWT. At number 6 is Might Guy. He has burn in his jutsu and boosts damage reduction for your team. His unique skill on normal attack is kinda meh. Counter rate isn't really a great stat or effect. What counter rate does is he basically deals damage at the same time he is dealt damage. Now that's great as a defensive effect, but it does very little damage and can't even kill an enemy, only brings their HP down to 1. His passive further boosts damage reduction and his own counter rate, but he's more of an offensive D unit, same as Darui. He has a very good tribe special though with Kakashi, and is probably the only 2-man tribe so far that deals damage to all active enemies. His one redeeming factor is his speed, as he's one of the fastest units in the game. He has 1 elite mission stage to farm for, so his frags are fairly easy to get. He's great for NWT and Arena. At number 5 we have Yamato. I personally don't like Yamato and I'm surprised that he's placed this high, but the reason for that is his LB2 skill. He already reduces critical suppression from his jutsu and normal attack, and now he even adds that to his passive. So he's basically a counter to crit-based teams. That's very useful in Arena and NWT. His tribe specials are in my opinion underwhelming. But he's very easy to get frags for because you can get his frags easily in Ryo or item summons. I never really worked on him personally, but because I have a lot of his frags, I can probably get him to 7 stars. He's placed high in this list, mostly for his use in Arena and NWT. At number 4 is one of my favorites, or the 4th Raikage. I like him a lot because for me, he is one of the best offensive D units in the game. Not only that, but he's mad fast as well. So he's similar to Guy, but better. He brings a stun in his jutsu and a small boost to speed. His passive brings damage reduction to active allies, to himself each time a unit dies, and additional damage reduction for A units in your team due to his LB2. He also has damage increase for himself, so that makes him tankier and do more damage the longer a fight goes. A downside though is that he's rather hard to farm for, especially for newer players since he has only 1 elite mission stage and it's on chapter 14. Though he's definitely great for Arena and NWT, and I highly recommend him. At number 3 is Sakura Uchiha. She's the best support character in the game and almost to UR levels if you ask Pain. She just brings so much to an Arena team. Her jutsu is AoE and a stun, so more chances to disable opponents, and lowers enemies' attack stat. Her unique skill increases damage reduction for the team. What makes her even more powerful is her passive skill. When she is active, her passive brings a heal for the entire team, increases attack for the entire team, and boosts damage increase for the entire team. So yeah, that's basically OP for the tremendous utility she brings. Now you may be thinking, hey, She's probably the best unit to farm for if she brings this much to a team. But why is she only at number 3? That's because she's ranked quite low for NWT, where damage and nukes matter the most. She's great for arena and PvE content like FG and guild boss raids. I highly recommend that you guys start working on this character as early as you can, as she only has one elite mission stage. The best support SR in my book. At number 2 is Hinata. She's basically a female version of Boruto in this game, but not as squishy. She's a crit machine. She has insane critical chance boost and critical damage boost for herself. Her jutsu is quite unique because she gets a buff to crit chance first, before she deals damage in the same skill. Then, she boosts the critical damage increase rate for the entire team when there are 6 or fewer allies. Now this may seem bad in the early stages of arena because you want to get ahead as early as possible, but this becomes like a comeback mechanism for when you get behind. Where this skill shines though is in NWT, as right from the get-go you already have fewer than 6 allies, so she hits way harder in NWT. Her unique skill also increases critical rate first before delivering a normal attack. Her passive is another crit booster, increasing her own critical rate and critical damage for the rest of the battle. So basically in arena, you will reach a point where Hinata will be dealing almost all crits and with all the buffs she gives to herself. So basically in arena, you will reach a point where Hinata will be dealing almost all crits with all the buff she gives to herself. What's also great about her is that her frags can be found in 3 elite missions, so you can easily farm for her frags and get her to 7 stars. Overall, a great offensive unit in all modes, even in FG and guild boss raids. Highly recommended. And finally, at number 1 is Rock Lee. His stats are comparable to UR units, and that's just one reason why he's at the top of this list. His jutsu is like Hinata's, where critical chance is increased before dealing the damage. This skill then also deals 50% more damage if he is at half health or below, and then boosts critical rate for all allies. His unique skill boosts his critical rate even more. His passive though makes him hit harder every time you kill an enemy, and his LB2 does the same thing but for defense. So the longer the fight goes, the stronger he is and the tankier he gets. He gives you that win more situation. In the initial release of the game, his frags were very hard to get, only appearing in legend summons. Gladly, he now has his elite mission in chapter 13, so farming for his frags isn't as bad as during release. He's great for all game modes, and that's why he's at the top of this list. I myself am working on Lee, and I will eventually use him for NWT and other PvE content. Another unit that I highly recommend that everyone uses in their teams. So that's it guys, that's the top 10 list of the best farmable shinobi in the game. Again, it's an objective list that's based off the Tribes Lab tier list. If you disagree with some of the shinobi on this list, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree, let me know as well. And if you have any feedback on the video, do let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.